sitting here watching this stream today, you cannot underestimate how ahead of the curve you are right now.
Bitcoin looks tired. All coins look hungry.
I'm just not quite sure that Bitcoin has any more solves.
I still think this thing is really worth a lot more than it is.
This stuff's spooky, man. These chaos PRZs are intense.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Solana is highly performant and has the team with the experience to support it.
$4,800 Ethereum. That's a big, big move here.
Whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I haven't solved for the music stuff today, so we're just gonna not monetize this because I want some tunes. Shout out to the producer for waking up early for this Friday morning pre-holiday break special with your man at randomtask555 on Twitter. Now, I'm a few minutes late today because I was enjoying the conversation over on Crypto Banter, which is not a channel I often watch, but Danny's on there today with Vinny Lingham, and they're talking L1s, and so I was listening to that. They're just wrapping up, so, you know, far be it from me to advertise another channel while I'm here, so don't go. But I'm sure we'll get a couple more viewers rolling in here as they finish up. Because if you're like me, you just like to watch and listen to Danny's theses and talk, and I always like seeing him get into it with other people with strong opinions and ecosystem plays. And anyways, it was a good conversation. But they are just wrapping up, so here we are. Let's talk markets. I mean, it's a little drippy. It's a little drippy today. It's not easy mode. It's just not. So, as I've spoken about, and let me know how the sound is, guys. I play with my Spotify all the time, just on my own. So for the show, it's like there's no number. So otherwise, I'd have a setting that I like. So y'all just let me know. Oh, BK, love you too, bro. So yeah, let me know if the sound is good, the music, the balance. I can always up and down stuff. Let's take just right to the charts. Let's get into it. I'm looking at Ethereum this morning, and I'm thinking, damn, good thing I didn't fall for that little rally yesterday. This is a strong-looking candle. And so I actually think that there's a chance this is the reversal. And this is just, you know, the bed shit right after. So, like, check this out. It's still end of year. I'm, you know, fundamentally, macro, whatever, I don't know. Timing in the year, I'm not looking to take a lot of new positions. We've talked a bit about that, but that's still the case. So I'm really, really, really trying to sit on my hands. One thing I did yesterday is I shifted some of my Aave 3 pool on Curve, which is just stablecoin yielding, and I shifted some of that, I think 1/7 of it, over to the Try Crypto 2 V2, which is like a 3 pool plus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, you know, I averaged a little bit into BTC and ETH after, because this is a lot of volume. And I don't know where the bottom is. And I'm not going to try to finesse it too well. So now I am exactly 50-50 in those pools. So I've got my stablecoin yield, and I've got my Try Crypto V2, which is a little bit long on ETH and Bitcoin. And I'm just slowly going to be shifting into Bitcoin and Ethereum in the next little bit. Now, obviously, Bitcoin looks like shit this morning, and that's why I just average, right? I don't want to like, oh, look, it looks bullish, I'm going to go all in. So in some ways, not a whole lot's changed, right? We are still in this little wedge. Shout out to Don. Is it Don? Dan? I don't know. He's Dutch. And he pointed this out. I don't know where it is. Let's find this. It's like a nice little wedge that had formed. I think it was on the line chart. That's why. Yeah. So if you just did this, yeah, we're tickling dicks here, getting down into the nitty gritty, for lack of a better way to put it. This doesn't look great. So we're going to want to close this 4-hour candle back inside of here. Again, you know, one poke through doesn't invalidate. You typically want to see market structure on the other side of a trend line. So for example, if we just went up here, I wouldn't say trend line broken. I would wait for a W breakout on the other side of the trend line, and that to me would say, okay, this downtrend's broken. And that way you don't get stuck like buying here and then you just get faked out and it dumps back down. How many times do you see that, right? So that's a one little trick to avoid that. Right now we're just dumping in here, and as you can see on my chart, the reload zone's not even here yet. If you draw up from our July lows, which is really when the latter part of this bull market, you know, what we've been enjoying since July, it's really when it took off. Oh my God. All right. I just looked up and saw Terry's like muted. I was like, oh dear God. Did I just open the show on mute? That would have been awkward. So look, let's go back to candles because they just look pretty. We've come up from the July lows, right? We had a little bear market. We had a total rinse out. Everyone that was weak-handed, anyone who didn't lacked the conviction or was just over leveraged, like we shook it out. It was gone. It was pure Wojak right here. Everyone was calling for 28K, 25K, 20K, 12K, right? The bear market was upon us. Nope. Nice breakout on volume really here signaled the reversal. And then it was just an A, B, C, D harmonic, right? One impulse off the bottom, and then we can just match that. You can draw these up. They're super simple to do, and you can have some fun with them. And they often do mark a continuation move target. So you have your low, you have your high, and then you just hold control and you drag it over. You mark it from this low and see where it ends. And, you know, if you sold there and that use that as your extension target, this was a nice area to be paying yourself, wasn't it? Now you can actually do that the other way. Maybe we'll just try one right now. See right here. Maybe this is your first impulse. It's easy to do things in retrospect. Let's try to do it live. See what we can do for future. Oh, and we'll drag this down here. And there's that, like sort of marked where you might have been looking. Like after this impulse, it comes up. You're like, I'm going to short because we just lost this key level, and now it's like at the underside. I'm going to short and maybe make my target the ABCD extension. And if you really want to be a teacher about it, you can actually mark, you know, this is called harmonics. So if you're, what the hell is going on here? Like, look up trading and harmonics, trading with harmonics, ABCD patterns. This is the most basic one. There's like really crazy ones that I find fascinating because they use fibs and ABCD, and it goes the other way too. So anyways, it looks like Bitcoin is trading rather harmonically lately, which is kind of cool. I find that stuff fascinating. And we had another one there. Anyways, so yeah, we're coming in here. That's the reload zone. Let's open it up to the full range so we can see all of this trading price action. And we've got a nice clean VPVR profile. Couple of gaps. Remember, these call to price like magnets. The price wants to go to these places. It'll gravitate around these, but as it goes through, it tends to want to fill these in. So right now we have a triple distribution, right? 1, 2, 3, and a healthy market, a market where maybe the market's saying, okay, we're done with this range, we're ready to move on, we're ready to explore higher. That would actually look a little bit more, where's the curve? Here it is. That would look a little bit more like this. Just like a proper fill. So as a trader, when I'm looking at this range, maybe we're getting up to the highs and I'm like, is it going to break out? Is it not? And I look down and I just say, wow, there's a lot of unfinished business down here. There's a lot of cleaning up to do. There's a lot of, you know, stuff. So does that mean we trade back into this big node down here and do a little filling in right here? Range through Christmas here, hit the sweet spot, 41. I think a lot of people, they get caught up with like, I don't know, perceived value. And they think, you know, okay, the chart says this area needs a tag, this area will get filled in. And then you tell someone Bitcoin's going to go to 41. And for no other reason than it just seems really cheap or low, they say, oh, no, that can't happen. If we go to 41, it's a bear market, we're going to 20. I try not to subscribe to that. I just try to stay focused on the TA that I know and how I trade. And it's less about Bitcoin will go to 41 and more about like what I will do when it gets there. And I will do another chunk of my 3 pool into Try Crypto 2, which would be like averaging more into Bitcoin right around here. So that's something I could see over the Christmas break here. Wouldn't be that odd. Let's get rid of these. They're in the way. And if that is going to happen, you know, does it change anything? Really? Long term, mid term? Does it break any structures? Does it ruin anyone's plans? I mean, not really. I don't think so. I don't think there's any reason to believe that no matter what Bitcoin does through this range, that it's suddenly like, oh no, we were wrong. It's not going to be what it's going to be. Like, I think this is just noise. This is end of year. This is low volume. This is, you know, I think January, let's see, 2, 3, 4 weeks into January, 4 weeks into February, into the year. And then we'll get a real good picture of like what kind of funds are deployed into January, the January barometer for the year. Very curious to see how that goes. This is all noise. This is just, nothing's really changed here. It's just kind of grinding lower and making everyone feel the pain. Now, I learned a lesson here, which I'll talk about today. I learned an important lesson through this, and that is to just chill the fuck out. Don't try to trade it too hard. There's nothing here on the daily that's very bullish at all. And I want to trade this to the long side. We're short, or we're late for the short, right? There was a nice little short opportunity here. Didn't really get one here. We got the breakdown and no really retest, so I wouldn't have had a short setup here. There was a short setup here right as I was in Miami, naturally. And then I was in Miami and it was like, rah! So whatever. You guys know I don't really short the market very well, so I don't sit around looking for them. But in retrospect, obviously, nice little retest after losing that level. It was a good place to be like thinking, I'll sell some, just to like, you know, rebuy later. Very key level. So now it's just, we got to clean up. We got to clean up. We got to clean up here. We're going to clean up here. I think we got to just drip and chill, because there are still a lot of people who are going to sell. There's a lot of people willing to sell down here, apparently. So until they're done, we're going to keep going down. If I'm not mistaken, Bitfinex had a wall of buy orders at these levels. Yeah, between 44, 45. Yeah, let's take a look at Bitfinex open interest. I did see it was starting to rally. Hey, August. How are you, man? Welcome. Oh, yeah, we're up to 50. Okay, good to have you guys here today on a Friday morning. We're going to get into some alts. You know, we can do some requests. I'm mostly here to just share, you know, just do some live analysis with you guys. You know, so you're sitting there thinking like, okay, like if I hit the desk in the morning, what am I doing? What am I thinking? That's literally what this is. I was with the baby this morning, hanging out, and I'm just like, oh, it's stream time, baby, let's go. So I am live analysis with you guys right here. I don't have this prepared in the sense of like, you know, a pre-narrative. We're just going to suss out what we can. There's another way to look at this, right? You could say, well, we had bullish market structure here on the daily. So let's see what the fib tells us from there. And let's hide this one for just a moment. Sometimes you find confluence in these kinds of things. And so we're at the 786. We're coming into the breakout level from here. That's what took us to the highs. And so, you know, we could expect to see this end up being a stop. And then if I end up going back to the bigger fib, can we find some alignment there? Yeah, like 88.6, a quick dip into the higher time frame RLZ, just like this wick. Yeah, I mean, no matter what, I just don't see any reason. Oh, it's dumping as we speak. I don't see any reason to rush in. Especially because it's like, it's a holiday. Enjoy the holidays, right? That's, yeah, I don't want to go to my cottage, or, you know, my family's got a little cottage. I don't want to go up there and like be like sitting on the couch like, oh no, I'm losing money, like it's Christmas, I'm just going to spend some time with the family. And it sucks. I have a lot of, you know, spot long positions. Of course, I'd love to see the number go up, but we know better than that. You just don't get to have that all the time, right? You got to take what the market gives you. You've got to fully stomach the risk that you have in the market. And that means like, and that took me a long time to get there, where I was, you know, I still am caught out of position sometimes, but generally speaking, when the market pukes and I see a number go down on my portfolio, I'm like, but it was like a number I was prepared to witness. And if I'm not prepared to witness it, I get the fuck out earlier. You know, like I'm just like, well, I shouldn't have that money at risk if it's going to really ruin my day. And that can drive people crazy on the show. As people are like, RT, why are you so calm? Everything's dumping. Fucking freak out, man. Come on, join us. Look, if you freak out all the time when you're in a volatile market like this, I mean, look at this market. Look at this. Up, down. Like, these are huge swings. This is like just a cool 54% drawdown on your favorite coin, followed by a 78% pump, followed very quickly by a nasty 25% dip. I mean, if you can't enjoy these swings, if you can't learn to ride with them long term, you're not going to make it. Just emotionally. I don't know about financially, but just generally speaking. So when I decided I'm going to trade this market long term and be involved, I had to get, comfy with that. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. That is also the nature of a good trader. Because really, to get a good trade, you have to be very uncomfortable. The best entries are right at the bottom, where it's just gross, right? And bless my heart, I was actually looking down here for the entry because I just thought, okay, it's either like Goblin Town or this is it. And you guys watch the show, you probably know this already, but it was right here. And I was looking at it that night, and it zoomed in. It was a little different, but it was like off the low, take the bounce, let's find the reload zone. And I had bids. I had bids working there for a few Bitcoin. And then I was dinner time, and I was like, I don't want to stress over this anymore because the market was driving me crazy because we were at peak Wojak, and I closed them, canceled them rather. And, but that's the idea. But it was so uncomfortable down here to be taking that long, and you get paid to be uncomfortable as a trader. That's really what your job is, paid to be physically, emotionally, mentally uncomfortable. So if I was long from anywhere up here, this was a clear invalidation, get the fuck out, and now it's just wait until, the thing about Try Crypto V2 is that it's muted volatility, right? So it's 2/3 long and it's 1/3 short or just flat. And so I'm not rushing out of that. It's collecting a yield. I get paid in AVAX every day. I get paid in USD. I get paid in CRV, a little bit of CRV. So I don't feel the urge to like, oh no, invalidation, get out of that. But yeah, I don't hold any Bitcoin right now. I don't hold any Ethereum. I'm waiting. And I might, this is my area. This is where I want to really get into it. Sweep these lows would get nasty. And at the very least, by then, if we go straight there, I think we are deserving of a decent bounce. Deserving is irrelevant. Market doesn't owe us shit, but generally speaking, just like elasticity wise, ebb and flow wise, we came up, they'll stop and then continued. I think it's like down, probably a little stop at some point and then continue. And so wherever that low is, maybe it's here, whatever. And it's this that I can start to reanalyze. So I'm probably longing out of here on spot, just adding some more. A spring off of this sweep would be the best. And then we can see how, trend up for a couple weeks, maybe to open the year. Who knows? So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin right now. How are you guys doing? Andre Vega here for the sweet hopium. Well, look, dude, I think the sweet hopium for me is that I'm speaking to a number of different insiders and sources in the crypto ecosystem, and they're all saying the same thing. Hedge funds onboarding like crazy, banks looking hungrily at this stuff, all waiting until January. Now that doesn't mean January 1st it'll just be like, oh moon, but they won't deploy into the end of the year like this. It's just not how that stuff works. Somebody somewhere might, but generally speaking, the word on the street is that there is a ton of capital just bubbling up at the sides, and it's looking to take positions into 2022 and throughout, most likely. But they're also not stupid, right? If they probably have a guy like me sitting there who's like, oh, this looks really weak, we could probably get cheaper. There's weak hands, let's shake them out, right? Because if you're a bull and you want to go long, you also want to go long from the best price. So counterintuitively, even bulls want to see lower prices sometimes, long-term bulls. So we'll see how that translates. But the word on the street is there is a ton of capital sitting around on the sidelines looking to get in, feeling hungry. And so I don't expect much before the end of the year. But into the new year, I'll be watching very closely. Pippykin says, hi, Mr. Task. It would be interesting to see Joe, especially AVAX pair, appears to have lost a level and now descending wedge, but RSI rising on the daily. Bullish divergence, no position. Okay, let's take a look at Joe. I love Joe. In fact, I already have it on my chart. I already have your wedge, bro. Pippykins. Brainwaves today. I was looking at Joe last night versus AVAX. So just what you asked for. And this is the wedge that I kind of drew up. Doesn't look as cool when you have full extensions. I like to just finesse it. Take this to here and then cut off that little edge, make it look cooler. But this trend line is drawn just from these 2 points, right? So it's a little more legit. The other one I had to kind of draw to fit. But let's get rid of that, just because we're here. We're here. So I hope you guys have some interesting plans for the break. I think it's going to be very tempting to keep an eye on this market, especially if you're not set in your plan. There is a tendency to want to stare at it. How's our stream quality doing? I'm getting a warning. Current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. We don't have a solution, but just so you know. Okay, we're at good, not excellent. I don't know why. Good news. I'm installing internet at the new place. at first it was 100 megabits per second max, and then I switched companies yesterday, so they're going to come in and it's going to go back to gigabit. So we should be good for streaming at the new place in a few weeks. After today, probably going to be unplugged for a little bit, just while I handle the move, and then into the new year, we'll fire up the new office, the new stream, all that stuff. So Joe, it's in a rising wedge. I mean, you got to remember Joe is an inflation-y token, right? I love Joe because it pays me to do LPs over there, but you know, getting paid in Joe. And I like, typically during the downtrend, I'll sell the Joe. Not everyone does. Some hold, but farm and dump is a thing. I'm not farming massive amounts. I'm certainly not responsible for any drawdowns, so leave me alone. But certainly not opposed to just selling my farm rewards. And then if we're into an uptrend, right? Like in this case, since these crossed bearish, I'll typically just swap at least out to AVAX, because AVAX is outperforming. And then if we get into another uptrend, I can swap that AVAX back into Joe. So it's a little bit like playing farm rewards into swing trades. We're in a sweet spot here, right? We're coming into the sweet spot, the 702. RSI, yeah, you're right. It's starting to tick up. Never really hit oversold. Would have been nice to hit oversold and see this below the 30. And then, yeah, OBV is not that interesting. Doesn't look, it's not really giving a good signal. It's not giving a bad signal. It's just kind of like, meh. So I don't know. I'd love to see Joe just like break out of this thing and get on a rip. I just think it's always going to suffer from that farm reward sell pressure. And so the case in this case, you know, maybe it's the case that it just never really moons, but just stays on a nice sideways grind. I mean, think about it. If you had Joe USDT, it was paying 120% APR just to LP for that, and then, you know, farm it. And if you did that since, just say September 11th, just say you bought the rip on September 11th. So you bought the local high September 11th, you're at the exact same price. And that means for about 97 days, so just over 3 months, you have been sitting there just churning out 100% APR on essentially stable coins, because it hasn't really moved. Yeah, you could have swapped it and, you know, done some trading and made some money, but generally speaking, price hasn't moved. So this kind of ranging thing for a token like Joe, to me, is actually pretty good if you're farming it, if you're LPing it versus stablecoin, blah blah blah. So I don't mind that. I was USDC Joe farm for a little bit, USDC farm as well, both over 100%. But right now, I'm out of those farms, mostly because of the beef with Danny. I didn't know how that was going to go, and it's a fundamental driver, right? If Wonderland decides to sell all their Joe, I think they might have already, so it's absorbed it really nicely. But I'm just looking at it. I'd like to get back in. I'm a big fan of Joe, regardless of the politics going on around it. I like it. I am lending. I'm lending some AVAX because I realized I was just sitting on a bag of AVAX. I was like, why don't I have that in there? It's like 8-9% a year. Why not? You can always just pull it out in one transaction. So I'm doing that actually on Aave. I thought I was on Banker Joe, but I chose Aave because Aave is paying in AVAX most of that APR, whereas Joe is paying in Joe. And I'm more bullish on AVAX than Joe, if that makes sense. AVAX is strong. Yeah, AVAX is holding up really well. Let's take a look at it. Nice segue. I actually haven't looked at AVAX today. Ooh. I looked at AVAX this morning and it was below this level, so it's actually rallying right now. Oof, 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 oof. Oh, I love Redcoin. Redcoin good. Yeah, so this is kind of my view of late, after kind of getting up through here. You know, peak mania up here, obviously. Suzu, everyone just tweeting shit out. Like, it was just peak mania. Come back in, retest here. Ding, ding, ding. Bounce. I wouldn't short this. I'm not going to sell my AVAX. You know, the reason I would, you'd be like, why would you sell AVAX? I'm very bullish on it. I think it's going to be $1,000 someday. But if I want more, then I need to find a place where it's really high up in a pattern, sell it, buy it back, and I can double my bag or whatever. So I don't know that I'm wanting to do that. I feel just so bullish about it. I might just find other ways to generate money to buy more. But if I was, I would not be doing any kind of selling until we're up in here. That's, you know, and here's the main reason why. And I talk about this all the time, but let's just send the point home. If I do it up there and I'm wrong, I lose 13% of my bag and I have to buy it back at the highs like a schmuck. If I do it here and I sell, and then it goes up here. It's not invalidated. Like maybe it was a good sell. Maybe in 3 months it actually is going to be lower. And so buying it back here, I'm still losing that 13%, but maybe it's just I'm buying the top and it dumps on my face. So the idea of try to sell to buy back cheaper is really invalidated at the new highs. It should not trade above this if that's going to be a good trade. And so I want to be as close to those new highs as possible when I take the trade. And this short reload zone typically is where that reversal happens, right? So right here, there's a lot of guys trying to short here. Trend line resistance, breakdown resistance. I find those are the shorts I used to take when I was new to trading. And then I've learned so many times that they're the ones that get blown up. So many times, right? That first obvious short, everyone's like, oh yeah, it's bearish and I'm short to Bitcoin. And the guys here are just getting blown up right now. And there's really nice volume on the buyback here. And so, they get blown up. Maybe we trend up here. There's a little bit of an SR level here. So maybe we trend up here, back down, trend up here, back down, get up into here. And then this is where that bearish divergence starts to come in. And all the guys who are eager to short this shit are just out of money. They don't have any more flavor for it. Got rinsed. Okay, fine, I give up. And that's when the short comes in. Again, I hate bringing up my favorite coin, talking about shorting all day, but that's, for nothing else, as an example, as a broad brushed example on my thinking around shorting, which by the way is not my best skill. So just be aware of that. But that's typically the psychology of these, where you get that first throwback and it just gets blown up. And then once it squeezes up into here and everybody's just so pissed, it's like a rising wedge, whatever. You start to see like the RSI and the MACD and everything starts rolling over. And then oftentimes you can even be more patient. Let's get out of here. Suddenly this looks a little bit gross. But if you're really patient, you can actually usually wait for the confirmation of the short. So let's just say instead of like having asks just sitting up there, let's just say I do this, lower high, and then we break and we lose that midpoint. And that's confirming that this was likely the highs. Now I can risk against those. And let's just say here, and that's your entry. So same as like on the way up, right? So that's like your bear case into 2022. I don't know why there would be one here other than that the market's just been cooking for like 2 years now. So if you want to play the bear, don't do it yet, is my 2 cents. Wait. And this is a nice candle. I mean, fuck. AVAX is about to make new local highs. I love it. And that's it, right? Imagine I just sold my AVAX here. I'd be pissed. And then I can't buy back till here? No. That's stupid. What was that? I'd be like buying 43% higher. Never. So I don't have any plans to sell mine, but if I did, it'll be something here and it's just going to have to smack me in the face and be too obvious to not take. And that goes for every coin. The other thing is, if I think the market's going to roll over, and we've talked about this before too, if I think the market's going to roll over, it doesn't really matter what asset I'm going to choose, right? Bitcoin's kind of down in its range. It's not very good for a short right now. I need to go look through, Binance perps. And that's where I would just hunt for, what do I want to express my shortness through? These are not updated. So there's probably a bunch more, but and there will be like Dusk. Let's see, does Dusk even have a perp? So you want to look for the thing that's kind of counter to the market. This is how I would think anyways. I don't know why I'm talking about shorting so much today, but just say like there was like, okay, I think the market's going to roll over. Bitcoin looks like trash. It lost 40K. We're going to go down. It's going to be like a few months of grossness. Okay, well, I want to hedge out some exposure. I'm not going to short things that are down 70% off their highs, but maybe I find an asset that's been going counter trend and we get a nice lower high here and then it breaks down the low and then we come up and squeeze into the short reload zone, right? Like those are the kinds of things where I could start, finding those outliers. So AVAX might be one of those. As much as I love it, it might be, it might be the way, if you think you're going to be a bear through Q1, might be the way to express that. As much as I love just being long the things I like. Then we get into this kind of greasy area next year, Q2, and we have a big fat rally. Who knows? That's like March, April, yeah. So it could happen. This is your bear case. Bull case obviously is just like, that's also very possible. Either way, I feel like I have this weird feeling there's going to be a rejection here. And then the good, the bull case from there would be like a little fib pong. So we had a huge rally, big smackdown, and then we just do this for like 4 months. Drive everyone crazy, and then blast off. That's actually, I think that's probably the most probable for what it's worth. All right, Wi-Fi's back, yeah. RT dumping Joe on us, yeah, no, not very much, like a couple hundred a week. I'm not a big Joe farmer. Holding up really well during this dump, yeah, okay. Vibey jams this morning, thanks, man. Yeah, that's it. We got to find some copyright-free jams. But in lieu of that, I'm not just going to have no music today. So we're just going to turn off the monetization. It'll just say, we can't monetize because you use copyright music. And that's just the way it's going to be. $50, I don't know, $20. I don't know how much we make on a video. Probably like 10. I'll pay for it just to get the tunes. Sold at 95. Please come back, AVAX. Yeah, okay. See, that Mary got 5 stars. That's the scary thing, right? You get bearish, you dump your shit, and then, and so through TRI and learning how to trade and shit, I just got really patient. If I want to be a bear on my nice coins that I like, I better fucking wait for the short reload zone. Because at least then I'm buying back pretty close to where I sold, not losing all my coin. But this kind of thing seems really likely, actually. I mean, as a bull. Even as a bull, I think that's like our bull case for the next little bit. Who knows, though? I mean, we might get into January. But if we don't get rejected here and come back at least a little bit, I'd be shocked. Yeah. John McGar says, keep talking. AVAX is moving nicely. Yep, I like it. What platforms are people using to short U.S. citizens? That's a good question. I mean, I'm not a U.S. citizen. But I don't know if that was directed at me. But anyways. CVX is looking good. CVX chart. Yeah, let's do it. Probably. I haven't charted this one in a while. I'm just farming it. It's looking good. Daniel thought Joseph Dex didn't incentivize MIM farm pools enough. Yeah, I don't think they did. Clearly, because the MIM team wasn't happy about it. Yeah, so this was what I was thinking could happen on CVX if I wanted to be a buyer of more directly. Looks like it's just going to break higher, which is really great news for my farms. CVX CRV staked on Convex. One of the things that farms is CVX. So I just have like a pool of that growing. Trying not to claim it again till the end of the year, just for tax purposes. So that's moving nicely. This looks good. I really should read the docs myself. It's all like, oh, vote locking and controlling and governance and but it might just be like an up-only coin given the whole vote lock thing. Bribes and all this stuff. I don't really understand how all that works. I hang out with people that are smarter than me and they tell me that it's bullish. And that's where I kind of stopped to this point. But I think I really should like firsthand absorb and read all that. I find it interesting. Just haven't figured it all out yet. It's all DeFi stuff. Oh, PEFI breaking out. Yeah. So this is interesting, right? Because like the market on the whole looks like shit, but there's some things that are moving. There's some shit doing work. Might be another September where we just get like an AVAX eco boom. I don't know if I have a bag of PEFI. I used to, and I probably bought it here and capitulated it somewhere through here because it was boring and it wasn't that big a bag, and I just wanted to clean up shop. Really nice breakout on volume today, though. This looks like it wants to go, and I think XAVA is probably leading in that sort of, like that kind of. I mean, this thing looks cooked, but that launch pad narrative. This one is like, oh, maybe PEFI is going to pull an XAVA, an avalanche. So keep an eye out on PEFI today. I think, see, here's the setup, guys. Here's the setup. We're gonna see it a lot. We're just gonna keep looking at it every time it comes in, so we can get it stuck in the back of our mind, right? We talk about this all the time. Everyone's talking about PEFI here. That's where I bought it because I don't always do what I should when I'm trading. I think I bought it here for that boo IDO, so it wasn't just like, ooh, this is my best entry. It was more like I wanted into that IDO. I'm gonna change this song. I don't like the lyrics. I want no lyrics. Okay. So same old thing, right? Get down into that boring old RLZ. Talk about this all the time, right? Fall into it and then just chill, find a base and wait for the buy volume. And where does the buy volume tick up? right here. Do you guys see that? That was the signal. Consistent rising volume. And yes, the price is up, but then don't worry about it. Buy the dip. You don't just go from flat, dead, nothing to straight up, right? Rallies, it's gradually then suddenly. And you're like, yeah, what about here? Okay, fuck off. It was that was an anomaly. Okay, that was a breakout of the entire AVAX ecosystem. Everything went straight up. But the idea is, you generally trend out of these slow and then gradual and then suddenly. And so, yeah, that breakout, buying opportunity, buying opportunity, buying opportunity, and now you can see the continuation. And we'll see. And usually, I don't know where this is going to go from here, but it's, for that setup, it's been missed. But the good news is, I think 80% of the big projects that I'm looking at are into these reload zones right now. And so it's just a matter of how long will they chill here? How much finesse am I going to try to put on it? Am I just going to, once this level is set, you can just set an alert. And then once price breaks through it, you can be like, oh, cool. Oh, look, rising buy volume. And then in the next week or two, you start to build positions. And then in the next month or two, you get paid. So I think we're going to see that through January, February on a lot of coins. And then into that Q2, we can start getting paid on some nice X's. That's my plan. That's my thoughts. I'm sticking to them. XAVA is 264. Okay. BTC's product even live yet? Yeah, I don't know. Kaizen, I have an even more embarrassing point of that story. Not only did I buy PEFI here for the BTC IDO, then the BTC IDO happened, and I didn't even claim my tokens. So I never got any BTC. And then I sold the PEFI at a loss. So all kinds of stellar performance for me on PEFI this year. That's sort of the nature of doing too much. And so that's why my resolution for next year, I had a good year. It's all good. But my resolution for next year is to trade less. Focus on less things. More size in higher conviction plays that I hold for longer periods of time. And then a base of passive yield farming that I claim once a month. For tax purposes, it's just going to be so much better. So this is the year I learned how taxes work. Next year is the year where I optimize for them. And if you haven't already, you can check out Frog Radio on YouTube. We recorded an episode with the token tax team yesterday. It's not the best, most exciting subject, but it's important. People say, I want to make it as a trader. I want to do this long term. Well, you better get that shit in order because, if you're just holding shit and it went up, you're a little bit, you can be a little more ignorant to it. But generally speaking, if you want to be long term, make a small business out of your stuff, you better learn how to do your business tax. So it was a good episode. I dropped some hints in there, not hints, but tips, things that I've learned in the last few months talking to my accountant, which I now have. Sounds like it's way better, but it's, I don't know. They're pretty sweet, but I still have to do a fuckload of work walking them through it all, which hopefully over time will get less and less. Where the hell is this? I'm I don't know, staking reward on some chain over there a couple months ago. Ouch, I remember you saying that. Oh my, yeah. So I did miss it. Miss BTC, now can't bring myself to get back into PEFI. Yep, pretty much where I'm at, Ethan. 1-to-1 dollar or cent. Okay, let's check out Harmony. Harmony. Somebody asked, is it going up to $1 or is it going down to a penny? Well, it did get into the chaos this year. Did really well. Shout out to our producer who gave me a hot tip around 17 cents right here. He said, I think Harmony's going to run. And it did. But me being, Mr. Patient reload zone, all I could see was this part of the chart where I should have been getting long. See, you see, every chart we pull up, guys, you're going to start to notice. It's these little death zones, man. This was July. Nobody wanted to buy anything. It was sitting in a reload zone. Well, start getting greedy in those fear zones. And again, rather than just aping in, you can even just be waiting for the breakout, trying to hunt some retests. Don't always get them, but there's so many ways to skin the cat. Anyways, let's take a look at now and into the future for Harmony, a chain I have not used yet. I should try it. I think my conviction tends to grow on these plays once I've actually gone on the chain. I think we could settle this right down into this little zone here. We can drag that across. So we're kind of at a key support now. This looks a lot like the Phantom chart, by the way. Let's take a look at FTM so you know what the hell I'm talking about, and we'll come right back. Right? Same thing, right? Little bobbly boop right here, and then a breakout that ended up marking the last part of the rally. Now we're right back into that level. Reminds me a lot of Phantom, another coin that I'm looking to purchase. So yeah, I think Harmony, I think what I'd like for 2022 and beyond is to have a basket of longer term holds on L1s. And so I welcome this kind of washout because Harmony, Phantom, arguably even AVAX, I could use a little more. Like I'd love to have a little more of that. I'm very, very focused on like a 4 or 5 year outlook for AVAX into the 4 digits. So if I get a nice washout in the market, if that's what we end up seeing through whatever period of 2022, cool, bring it on. I think at this point, cat's out of the bag, so cheaper is better. Just means you get discounts. And I know that's so cliche, right? During any kind of bear, like, oh my God, 2018, 2019, it was such cope, like through all the telegrams, and then the coin's down like 98%. They're like, oh, it's fine. It just means I can buy more. And I'm like, bro, you are so underwater. It shows. And it got awkward. And then a lot of those guys ended up puking their bags at minus 99%. And then when it's down 99% from that level, it can still drop 99% from there. And that happened to a coin of mine called Aeon. And that telegram, oh my God, famous for how copey it was. All that to say, I don't want to sound like that, but I do actually look forward to whatever discount I can get. Either that is happening now, and this is it, and we just confirmed a little W breakout, and I should start thinking about adding to my, or starting a Harmony bag, or we just trickle down through these reload zones like we've seen on so many charts today, and whatever that looks like through whatever period of time, and then we break out and go. So it's like, I feel like if we're not going into an absolute just death bear market, which I don't think we are, then this is what we get as best case for bulls, and this is what we get now as like the other possibility. So regardless, I don't see any new highs anytime soon, like not in the next 2 months. So I'm not in a huge rush today, and I could be wrong. I think what I'll do as soon as the new year turns, and hopefully I'm still down like below these levels, I have a new, I'm gonna set up some new things, get some new accounts set up, and then I'm gonna actually start just a proper planned DCA into like 6 L1s. Phantom, AVAX, Solana. What else we got? Why are those the 3 that I'm sticking to? Cello, maybe, CELO, just as like a little offshoot, maybe a little smaller bag of that one. What else are the favorite L1s around here, kids? Not ETH. I'm not gonna, I have some ETH, maybe I'll have some ETH, but like it's not gonna be part of this basket. This is like a rising L1 basket. I know I'm on delay, so I'm gonna let the chat catch up, but what are some other good L1s, guys? Let's maybe make this list now. Fuck it. Oh, like, Atom. I'm not even that bullish on Atom. It's weird. You don't even really need the token for all the subchains, but maybe like Secret. I think I'll add to my Secret bag. We talked about how I did the staking instead of trying to actually trade it, which I should have been doing, because as soon as this broke, I was like, oh, fuck, we're screwed for a little bit. Could have sold, but I was in a 28-day lock on staking and didn't even bother trying. So here we are, probably just going to add to my Atom in the $2 to $3 range, if I can. Maybe it's like it's at the sweet spot. Maybe I should just smarten up and buy some. Yeah, Atom. Okay, yeah, Elrond. Oh, Luna, that's the one. I knew there was like another big one that was, no, not ADA. Luna is the one. So Luna for sure is happening. In fact, Luna might be one of the bigger ones. Again, if I can get these sweet dips. Luna's not dipping for me. It's too bullish. But also, not to be the bearer of bear news, but this is exactly what you see when trends reverse. Just saying. And that would fit. That would fit really well with everything I do TA-wise, and so I'm going to roll with it. But, coming out of a sick reload zone. I mean, this is when we looked at on stream, not like, oh, you should go buy this. We called it, but we definitely were looking at it down here thinking like, oh man, like, Mike Novogratz said something about Luna going from $5 to up, and then Rob was talking about Luna. He said we should keep an eye on it, and then holy shit, that thing rocketed. Now we've gone a long way. We could go higher, but for me, we've just come into chaos. We've got double rejected. We've got a bearish market structure confirmed, and now we've just blasted up into it and retested it. So hell no, I'm not rushing into Luna. No. Down here, let's get some dollar cost averages. Up here, let's be cautious and patient. Can I get, it's almost like it's lagging. It's like everything else is already kind of down in here. Now, is that because of UST? and all the burning, and it's just a way more bullish coin, and I'm just going to miss out and have fun staying poor, possibly. But I can't break my rules just because somebody told me that Luna's super bullish. I need to not be long here. So I'm either going to get long through this PCZ or down in this reload zone if I can. I know people now, they're like, oh, Luna going to 30, dream on, bud. But I think there was probably a lot of people back in around here that was saying that to me about Phantom, and look at it now, right down in my zone. Question is, will I buy it? Yeah, probably. I think these moving averages take some time too, right? They're really wide right now, so we probably just whatever need to do some of this if I want to be a bull. So wherever this lands, it could be down here. So that kind of thing coming up for a lot of these. And if I can get Luna into something like that, ooh baby. I feel like I'm gonna miss Luna. I'm not gonna make that like a reason to go and just break my rules and buy it up here, but I feel like this one somehow, some way, just it's too bullish, and I'm gonna miss it. Showing superiority. Holy moly, they hold on. Yeah. CVX. I have some CVX or CRV. I sold some through this dip, shamedly. I still have a pretty good position staking. And we talked about this the other day. Oh my God, it's moving today. Shit. That's okay. I still got a pretty nice position, so it's holding me up too. But yeah, I talked to Rob about it. It was the same kind of thing. You know, bearish market structure, breakdown, like, you know, lost this level, came up, retested it, lost it again. So through here, I did cut a good decent chunk of my CRV stake position. Sue me. Not perfect. Not ideal in retrospect instantly. But, you know, if I'm going to sit here and say, you know, we nailed it in some of this TA smacks, I should at least point out when I make mistakes as well. So I have an invalidation to that, which is very, very close. Very close. And so if we close this daily above this level here, then I will be buying the next dip to get all that back at whatever price. The next dip, keyword. So if we like blast higher, you know, close here, oh no, green candle, oh no, green candle, and then it's like whoosh, like that's I'm buying back at, you know, 439 or something. It's going to take a while, and it'll be a little agonizing if it really rallies up into here first, but it's not like there'll never be a dip again. So I might get invalidated here on my attempt to buy cheaper. That's the way she goes. But a big part of it was I was looking at my overall portfolio. It was coming into the end of the year. Bitcoin, Ethereum, the market in general looked like shit. Looks like it needs to cool down. That's my thesis. So I was looking at positions I had that I could get to a stable coin percentage in my portfolio that I felt comfortable with. Period. And that this had to take a hit. Even though super bullish on it. And to be fair, I still have a pretty decent bag, so I'm not too bothered. But that's one I've got to keep an eye on. If it closes above here, yeah, I've got it's actually in the zone right now. So we'll see how the daily close goes today. I have 8 hours. If it closes above, that's confirmed for me. I need to get back in, so I'll hunt dips. Otherwise, you know, if we get rejected here into the end of the day, I wouldn't be shocked to just see it still do the thing that I was actually thinking it might do, which was roll down into this reload zone over whatever period of time. Because there are still emissions. I think, you know, Messi keeps saying it's like net negative or net deflationary now with all the lockups, but I don't know. That's why I kept the bag. I'm like, I'm not getting rid of this. I love this coin. And the yields are still sweet. All you need to know is that Tetranon is carrying us. Yeah, I know, right? It's hard to like fade that guy. So I wouldn't say I'm fading him. I think maybe I was just trying to get too cute. A little portfolio rebalance. It's not the end of the world. Not the first time, won't be the last. You just kind of get used to it. A little numb. And I sold it for higher than I bought it for, so it's still a winning trade. It was just perhaps not ideal. Yeah, you made the right call. Okay, yeah, I mean, balancing is never a bad idea, right? And then once you're comfortable, you see things more clearly, and I can always buy it back. You know, if I think it's going to go to some of these levels, which I honestly do at some point, then where I buy it back around here is mostly inconsequential, especially if I get paid to hold it up there. Coin, yeah, one coin market again. Thanks, Redcoin. I know. I love the AVAX. Feeling it. Hard to imagine seeing it go down that far. I know, Kaizen, it always is, man. It always is. Doesn't, and that's the thing, like, I'm not saying it will, I'm just saying I want to be prepared if it does and know what we're going to do. Yeah, let's take a look at ICE. How is ICE doing? I haven't looked at it today. Ooh, red candle day. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think ICE is in the zone. It's in a zone, like, are we really going to go down to this level? Like $4, some greasy shit? I don't think so. I really have a hard time picturing that. They need... they just more TVL growth, leveraged popsicle stuff coming. Fundamentally, my thesis hasn't changed. Up here, really painful case of not selling because it hit my zone. It hit my zone perfectly. I took such a sizable position in ICE too, guys. Just to be honest, like percentage-wise, monstrous ICE position exposure. And then it came in. Oh, I don't even know if this is not the chart. Yeah, this is not the chart. But on the chart that I was charting it on, let's go see if I can find that. Did I even have ICE here? Yeah, there it is. Please just work. Oh my God, it worked. Yeah, so right here, wherever that chaos was drawn from, this is the chart I was charting it on at the time. And yeah, look at that. I mean, it's like, oh, did some analysis, had a thesis, longed your thesis, came into your targets, didn't sell it. So we'll chalk that up as probably my biggest, most costly mistake of 2021. And then by the time I got home from Lisbon, it didn't, it was down 40%. I was like, well, I'm not going to sell now. I'll wait for a bounce. Missed this wick. So I'm along for the ride now. And the reason I decided it wasn't such a big deal is because if someone asked me, like, do you think ICE will ever break this high again? I would say the probability is in the high 80s. So I just have to wait. And this feels like it was a mistake now. Later on, it may look back and be like, it was all noise. And this chart's just this tiny little thing in the corner. And, we end up like, ends up being a multi-$100 coin. That's sort of my thesis back then. I don't see why I should change it just because of local price action. But it's really hard to sometimes see that from here. It just feels depressing. I think there's a very good chance it's building a floor now. So I'm certainly not rushing to sell now. I'm not going to do that thing I did with PEFI. We talked about that, right? Same thing. I mean, it's normal. You get into here, you think, I'm going to hold. And then somewhere through here, some other coin, some other shiny new toy excites you, and you just go and pick it up. Sometimes these last a long time. Same thing with my Everest, right? And this one, just because I have the conviction, I was like, yeah, I could totally get shaken out here. If we break 20 cents and really trade down below here, that'll be a little painful. But fundamentally, these guys are moving right where I thought they would be, and I've got my bag, and I'm not selling it. Not selling it now. Fuck that. I've already experienced all that opportunity cost, right? Why would I sell it now? So that's my thoughts on ICE. Yeah, about to puke it. Yeah, see, Maximum Swag Engage says, yeah, it's confusing me, to be honest. I'm about to puke it. That's the sentiment, right? That's how bases are formed. That's literally, I'm glad you said that, because let's be honest, it's a pukeable bag right now, right? But that's how these bases form. You get boredom, and you get anyone who's willing to sell, and until they're all gone, we don't get to go up. Because every time it goes up a bit, all those guys say, okay, now I'm going to get out. Okay, now I'm going to get out. Okay, now I'm going to get out. And that floor stays there, right? There, I saw the wallets. There was some whales puking here, whales puking here. As soon as we rally off news again, whales puking here. Like, you have to wait until all those people are out. You come into this resistance, you're going to sell off. You're going to sell off. You're going to sell off. And then eventually, there's just nobody left down here that's even trying to sell. And then some news grows, maybe some user acquisition, maybe some real use case. And all of a sudden, the next cycle begins. Maybe not that suddenly, but you know what I mean? So that's a bit of where we're at with ICE, and that's where we're at with a lot of coins right now. We're just down in this base building zone, and like Maximum Swag says, he's about to puke his bag. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if that's your thing, if that's where you're at, don't listen to me. This thing could go to $4. I'm still going to hold my bag. I can't sell it now. It's N ICE, and it's staying there. Where was the top of the 1.0 fib for that chart? This one? I don't know, 73 bucks. On here it's 73. On CoinTrader Pro, it actually only went to like 68 bucks. They didn't catch that top because these wicks don't often show up on that because it's like CoinMarketCap data. Yeah, and we got to talk. I want to talk to the team. I want to suggest, what can we do? Obviously, this is the chat you have here, right? Here, the token is perfect. Then down here, it's like, how can we fix it? It's broken. I don't think it's broken. Maybe it just needs to have, markets ebb and flow. But I would like to explore other use cases with the token. Right now it's like buyback off the market with the fees and then, give it to stakers. What if we gave half of it to stakers once it got up to a certain point and burned the other half? What if over time usage equaled more scarce? What if there was more of like a boost program like Badger has on the Badger vaults where you have to hold a certain amount of it to get a better yield? Now maybe there's something like that. So you have to hold NICE to get the best out of the platform. Because right now you can go in there and use the PLPs, make a really nice return, and not even touch ICE token ever. You can use everything without touching ICE token. ICE token is more of like a dividend paying like shareholder token, which could end up aging well, which is why I'm in it. But what if the users of the platform benefited, right? Because now I look at it and I think, okay, NICE APR is low because the fees are low. It's just growing. It's new. Fuck it. It's also very new. So caveat emptor. But I look at that APR and I say maybe it's 25%. But then I look at the PLP and I say, why don't I just put my funds into the actual Popsicle Finance PLPs? I'm going to make more money than if I hold their token. That's a really hard thing mentally, I think, to get over for some people. So it might be, aside from just the high staking percentage equal to the low liquidity, and so it dumps easy. I don't know. These are my thoughts. So I know Squirrel. I've chatted with him, so I'm gonna chat with him. We'll see what we can do. I'm sure they're, not too worried about it. Frankly, I'm not either, other than just like excited and bored and want this part to end. Nobody likes this part. Let's build a base. So. Yeah, maximum seg, and I don't want to sit here like I'm talking you into holding and then it goes to $2, $3, $4 and then it's just like it never really performs for a while and then you're just like, God damn it. Go with your instincts, man. Follow your plan. But if you bought it to go to like, if I buy something to go to crazy new highs, which is what I did, and I missed my trade exit, which I didn't obviously have planned very well because otherwise I would have just executed perfectly. At this point, I'm not going to change my thesis because of price action. Especially, I've learned, these reload zones are where things look bleak and where people get angry and where telegrams look like shit and everyone's mad, Wojacks, etc. But that's also where you end up puking, positions, and then months later, Q2, maybe it's April, maybe it's May, maybe it's June, and we get into this and it's just rallying like crazy, and you just look back at where you sold objectively, like on the chart, you look at it, you're like, oh, that was dumb. So I don't know if we're gonna get that, but I've learned enough to like, probability wise, not to trade that way. Don't buy here, not sell here, and then just regret your life and sell here. That's what I do. But you gotta follow your thing. Yeah, Ben Serious says, I love how you admit your mistakes. A lot of CT doesn't have the balls to do that. Well, look, I would be a scammer if I just sat here and just said I'd nail this stuff. I mean, trading is hard. Analysis, I find easy. I love it. I enjoy it. You can sit here and draw and explain things, we're in the PCZ on CRV, and through all the adjusting of my portfolio I did, I think this might be my only mistake, and it's not confirmed yet. It's a confirmed mistake in 8 hours. If we close above here, if we wick back down, then this is just in chop zone, and I can probably get back in at the same price or actually get my zone entry. But yeah, no, you gotta own your mistakes in trading, which is what I'm here to kind of talk about. Yeah, Meatfish, I do have a stronger yearning for spell as well, and I also have a position that is enough, so I'm not going to buy anymore. Time probably needs more of a cool off still. Yeah, look, time can cool off all at once as long as it's moving sideways. Wunderland. If time wants to just chill through this RLZ for as long as it wants, we can all get paid, right? Stakers gonna love that. If we want to live in this zone, I know that like one of these touches like, oh, that's 2,000. Well, whatever. But if we want to live through here, we all make money. Market cap grows, stakers grow. If we want to chop, take time to cool off all you want, right? What you don't want to see obviously it's just like a never-ending bleed out where it just turns into an income coin, and that's kind of how it's designed. Let's be honest. There's backing per time, so how that's going to kick in, I'm very curious. We've never really seen it on an Ohm fork where you see, the treasury backs the coin. Well, they haven't all, we haven't seen a lot of those crashes where that has to really happen. So I'm very excited to see what that is. I'll tell you this. Somebody pointed something out interesting to me. Just say you have one time token today based on the APY in 1 year of staking, assuming none of that changes, right? Danny's talked about taking the APY off, turning it into more of a scarce token, like a share of a DAO and voting rights. And, you could cash it, for a percentage of the treasury, blah, blah, blah. So treasury grows, token price grows. That could happen. But just say we stay in this mode and the APY for a year. Then one token today, you'd have 850 time tokens in 1 year if it's 85,000 APY, which is close to where it is. If those tokens in a year were worth $10 each, you would have $8,500 worth of time. If you took that same one time token today and sold it instead, you would have $3,100, $3,200. And so even if we washed out to $10 coin, staking it for a year would outperform selling it now. And of course, if we got through that year and it was more than $10, that theory enhances. So that's, I'm a little uncomfortable with that because a lot could happen in a year. I don't think the APY will last a year. I think that will get changed in the next few months. I don't know that, so it's not like a hint of inside information or anything. That's what my vibe is. So I have been, skimming my rewards. Like I get daily rewards. For the longest time, I was growing my account. So it was like, if I earn this much, I sell part of it, but still not all of it. So each day my account's growing while I'm still skimming. Because that's how I decided to play it, not infinite 3-3. Through here, did a little skimming. Admittedly, I missed this breakdown in trend. It was a pretty clear exit as far as like if you wanted to trade this thing. Retest, and then it and that's TA for you, right? As soon as that retest came in and it was confirmed, it was like, poof, just dropped. There was no more, and then it was just like, it was probably going to drop to this demand area, which is where we're in. Now we're living in it. So we'll see. I think we have to keep an eye on Ohm if we want to talk about Wonderland. Ohm is still the king, and it is not doing well. It's back into where I didn't buy the other day. I said, I should have bought 367. It's back there now. So am I going to buy it today? I don't know. Probably not. Not till January. I'm not buying much till January, especially not sizey stuff. But like this, this whole model is being rinsed. It's been diluted. I was a little nervous about that, obviously, with all the forks. That's how it goes. You can't have nice things when things are open source and one or two forks work well, people make some money, and then everyone says, hey, we could start our own. We could be those guys at the bottom of that, getting in early and rallying it up. But the fact is, when you start with that in mind, let's get rich quick, you tend to not have the staying power, the sustainability, and a lot of rugs happen and a lot of just shady bullshit. And so as you get further into fork season, the ROI potential goes down and down, the risk goes up and up. And now we just need to wash it out. There's just, everyone's fire sale. So we'll see when the bid steps back in on Ohm. That's when the bid will probably step back in on time. And then if they can just make a floor, ooh baby, we will do well with our staking. For now, I'm still holding time and I'm still staking it. I don't have any Ohm. Never have. But might. Yeah, I know. I do trust Danny. I trust in him. I trust in him to do well and not sit by and watch something just get rinsed. And that's part of why I think they talked about removing the APY, so it becomes this scarce asset. If they announce like there will never be another time token ever again, unless the DAO like decides or whatever, then we'll see what we could do, right? I think it'd be cool if you could like see the treasury balance, and then at any time your time token represents like a share of that, and at any time you could go and like convert it to that dollar amount. And so as the treasury grows, which it's growing substantially every day with their farming strategies, as the treasury grows, your token value literally just directly grows with it. And then there's arbitrages that you could do between treasury redemptions and buying off the market, and we could all just literally grow with it. And there's no more staking, no more APY. That's kind of my vision for the future of it. That's what I think will end up happening. But I don't know the technicalities of all that. I'm not a dev, so. But I will continually, I will suggest things like that to the team, because I think that'd be cool as fuck. And frankly, I think I got that idea from them. I think that's sort of one suggestion that I heard. So I think no one really wants to buy Ohm because it's on ETH. Yeah, that's the thing. And so we might be in this weird place where people are using Ohm as a correlation. And so it's dying, and then they're like, oh, well, time can't perform. I'm not going to buy time until Ohm steps up. And then there might be a point where like Ohm doesn't step up because of that whole thing around ETH and expense and all the other options now for this similar kind of thing. And then maybe time does, and we get that market cap flippening that everyone's been kind of tracking. I think we got to like 98.6% of Ohm's market cap a week ago, and then shit the bed. So cannot buy Ohm on AVAX. Oh, is it multi-chain now? Okay. Yeah, I think more likely it will drift down in price. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. With the APYs, it's very hard to say like there's a bottom price. So there's two things, and we'll just wrap this thought up here because we don't want to talk about the same projects all day. But for Wonderland, my final thoughts are, let's see what the treasury backing does. There is a point where they said, I think around 2,500, that they'll literally just step in with some of that MIM and start putting a floor in. It's like, sell me all you want at 25 and fuck off. So we might do that. And then secondly, like how we're going to evolve past the APY if we do. Two big things I'm watching. RFV and proposals around, changes to that. Ohm on Phantom and AVAX now. Oh, interesting. I have to look into that. I haven't. Okay, nice. Yeah, Ohm's going multi-chain, so that might be an opportunity there, and that might be the pivot in the market, right? Once you can get holders and users on other chains and the cheaper, and then you get that crowd, and that might mark our pivot in that 350, 360 area on Ohm, which would be nice, because that's kind of where I want to buy it. So, what else? NASDAQ mini futures dropped yesterday, not too great. What's the old Dixie doing? Weird. Yeah, I think the dollar is going to go higher. I don't know if anyone cares about the dollar. Let's look at ETHBTC. Nice retest on the 3-day. This is a key level. Don't want to lose that if you're into the ETH outperforming Bitcoin narrative. You could lose this a little bit and still come back. It's just one line. I'm actually more inclined to use this. So there's a little bit of room below where I'd say we're still intact, but you lose 7.073 and shit gets a little shady. Which from this view, it's not that hard to see, right? We had the breakout, we got the reload zone. Now, the reload zone is up here, right around that 703. So yeah, we don't want to really go too much past that if we're going to pull back. But we're riding this weekly 20. So just basically don't want to lose this. We want to see this continue. Whatever that's going to look like. Right through the whole next year. That's a year. This is 2022 right here. It's so crazy to think this will be filled in someday, and we don't know how, but it will be. There will be candles all through here somehow, some way. Hopefully not like that. Fuck that. We're here for the bull. Unison ZCX, kind of interesting project. They allowed modules in their own modal. Their first module is okay. Use modules 3 times in one sentence, sir. Syntax error. Is the Binance CEX, so they can tap their liquidity. Interesting. That sounds very complex. To be honest, I think straight up the biggest argument for floor time greater than Ohm is community. I like the decentralized VC stuff. Ohm can't beat Frog Nation. Yeah, I agree with you strongly. Frog Nation is a strong presence and very loyal, and the leadership I think is much stronger. Oh, fucked up my chair. Gotta figure out how to fix that. Okay, final thoughts, guys. Final thoughts. Let's get into it. It is getting into that hour-and-a-half zone. Hopefully you guys have some nice stuff planned for the holidays. Try not to get, my social advice would be try not to get too, AVAX looks so good. Try not to get too sucked into, staring at this stuff, feeling bad about it if you are, balance, manage risk always, and then you just don't have to feel bad. It sucks, even when I manage risk and I lose, I really hate it. I do feel bad, so I'm not gonna act like I don't. But yeah, let's just try to enjoy the holidays. January is gonna be a new exciting month, and I think mostly I'm gonna wrap up my new trades until then. If anything else, just for my accountant's purpose sake. This looks so good. I don't even know what to say about it. I'm gonna go stare at the AVAX chart while I go out for lunch today. Going to go out to the Christmas market with the family for a nice little liquid lunch, and then probably just kick it tonight. Maybe play a little Warzone. If anybody here plays Warzone on PS5, I am in desperate need of squad mates. I don't want to do that cross-platform shit because I just get spanked by the PCs. So if anybody here does Warzone on PS5 and you want to rip with me and my cousin and some buddies, most of the time during the day or evenings, and I find that I have no one to play with. Because I haven't played video games in months, and all my buddies play from like 10 until 2 a.m., which I can't do because I have children now. I have a child. I like to go to sleep early, so I do play Warzone, but I'm in EU. Yeah, well look, dude, I got a buddy, one of my best buddies that I like to play with is in the EU, in Scotland, and we rip, and he'll play like 2 a.m., 12 his time. It's like 5, 7 p.m. my time. So, you know, maybe we do a little bit of Warzone, dude. So hit me up on Twitter DMs. I rarely check them, so if you're like, hey, wait a minute, you never respond to me on Twitter DMs, you're right. But tonight, if I get into that game and I have no one to play with, I'm going to go to my Twitter DMs and see maybe we can get a little squad together. I swear, I'm not that bad. Having been away for a while, I'm still decent. So we can rip. That'd be fun. The new map is actually really dope. It's a jungle map. So that's kind of how I plan to spend my break. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to look at the charts. I'm going to do my morning analysis with the coffee. I'm going to maybe shift some tectonic plates in my yield farms. But for the most part, I am looking to get cheap L1 average index fund for next year. So like, Luna, FTM, Harmony, maybe find some spicy smaller cap ones that might have an upside year. Like Algo is one that I think could have a good year in 2022. Build out that little wallet through January and then just hold it and not overtax myself like I did this year. Okay, EU cross chain here. Yeah, I know. I thought I have the PC for it. I just don't really do PC gaming. I like to get out of my chair, move away from my office to game, sit on the couch and kick it. So anyways, guys, I'm just rambling now. Love hanging out with you, but I should go. Gonna go hang with the baby for a little bit before this liquid lunch. Whatever you guys do from now until next time, stay long on the red coin apparently. But it is getting into that caution area in the high 20s, high 120s, 130s. It's an area where I will be looking for weakness to see if I can increase my bag through a holiday short. But more than likely, I'll just stay long my spot and fuck around on, I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it right now. It's just the nicest chart. And this gets to turn green now. I did the thing where I turned back to studio and then okay, so this gets to turn green now. This is officially support after today's price action. So anyways, yeah, let the red coin do its Santa rally. Everything else can just come back into my bids. It'll be great, guys. But yeah, have a great holiday, guys. If I'm not back, I don't have official plans for next week. Maybe we'll do a stream, but for now, I think it'll be January where we're back live with everybody. So from now until next time, guys, whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Take care. Merry Christmas.